Good afternoon, everybody. It's Buck again. Today we're going to do another segment of video gear review for ITS Tactical. The gear we're going to review today is NLT's SIRT training pistol. SIRT stands for Shot Indicating Resetting Trigger. So before we get started, we're going to go over a few things, a few fundamentals, so you understand what the basis of the creation of this device was. If you're any type of pistolero, weekend shooter, competition shooter, pro shooter, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, you shoot pistol once in a while, you should know about the fundamentals, and if you don't, go learn them. Take a lesson from somebody. Fundamentals of pistol shooting involve stance, grip, draw, sight alignment, sight picture, breathing, trigger control, and follow through. Those are the basic fundamentals. You can add a few more, you can take a few away, I don't care. My favorite is grip, sight alignment, sight picture, and trigger control. Without those, you have no idea where any of your rounds will ever go. If you don't control at least those, you're just kind of spraying lead. The rest of them are very valuable, but those first few are very critical for good shot placement. So you go back a few years, pistol's clear. You go back a few years and what you were probably taught was basically two methods: dry firing at home or shooting at the range. So in order to save some money, you practice at home with the dry fire with a clear pistol. And what you're going to do is they're going to do everything that they teach you. Get into a good stance, good grip, breathing control, sight alignment, sight picture, press, and break, and okay. The problem with that, the problem that everybody finds with dry firing, is that to properly dry fire, you have to have somebody cycle the slide for you so that you can reset your trigger. Because as I just depressed the trigger here, the trigger is now set to the rear and I can't do anything. In order to reset it, either I or I have to have somebody helping me. Racks a slide, I can then reset the trigger, hear the click, and then I can get back into my position and I can practice another shot. Reset the trigger. Well, you go on and on. So you either have somebody help you with that or you do it yourself. But then you have to let go of the pistol. You don't have proper grip anymore. So it doesn't really work super well. You go to the range. You're practicing all this stuff and you're going through 20, 25, 30 cents per shot to practice all your fundamentals. If you've got unlimited sources of income, go ahead. Shoot all the ammo you can. I would love to be in that position or in your position if you can afford to do that. I personally can't afford to go to the range and shoot 200 or 400 rounds per week to maintain my fundamentals. So, along comes NLT. NLT introduces a pistol, a training pistol to the market that allows you to practice all of your fundamentals at home, in your office, in front of the TV, safely, at a very low cost, and it's very inexpensive to do so. So first feature you'll see is a red slide. This indicates that it is a training pistol. There's no way to possibly fire this. It's a tool. It's a rock. You can't shoot anybody with this. It's a training aid. Up front you have two apertures, one for a green laser and one for a red laser on the model that I have. You have a magazine that's properly weighted as if it was fully loaded. And I believe this was modeled after the Glock G17 or the G22. It weighs about the same as both of them fully loaded. So you get good handling features as if it's fully loaded, which your pistol should probably always be. Now the great feature about this is that what I just explained, the difficulty in dry firing a pistol and needing somebody to help you reset your trigger, you can practice all of your fundamentals standing in your home or standing in your office of stance, grip, draw, sight alignment, breathing, trigger control. You can get into this, and when you press and you get to the break, the trigger resets automatically. Watch. Break, reset, break, reset. Here's your trigger take-up, break, reset. It's phenomenal. So you don't have to let go of the pistol to rack the slide to be able to reset the pistol so you can reset your trigger. The other feature that is invaluable for this pistol is it helps allow you diagnose what you're doing when you're shooting. For example, I'm going to kind of turn, we're going to use a quarter of the white paper, the black paper here. There's a two-position switch on this pistol, rearward and forward. In the rearward position, when you take up the trigger, you get a red laser or red indicator on the paper. So you know what your muzzle and what your grip and what your stance, how all of that affects your pistol when you take up the trigger. When you get to the break, you will get a green laser. This is what I'm talking about in being able to diagnose all of your fundamentals into where they will impact on the paper. So, trigger take up, break. Now when I want to reset the trigger, I take up the trigger, I press, you get the break. Now I reset the trigger, press the trigger again. Now if I was doing it wrong, one of the shooting terms that we'll use is slapping the trigger. Or you press, you get to the break, you shot fired. If you're losing the red laser, it means that you're pulling the trigger and your trigger is basically coming all the way off the trigger before you press again. That's wrong if you're going to go into a shooting match or if you're shooting period. Pull the trigger, you release it until you get back, until it resets, and then you can pull it again. So again, phenomenal. You don't get an indicator any other time except when you're on the range shooting live ammo. This will allow you to diagnose yourself for virtually $0 in the confines of your home and your office. This is why I like it. The other features of it, you'll notice that it looks a lot like a Glock. Yes, it does. It was, I don't want to get in trouble, but I would say that it's probably modeled after the Glock. But I do know firsthand from the folks at NLT that they have spoken with Glock or worked with Glock not to infringe Glock's IP or intellectual property in some of the unique features and unique characteristics of the pistol. You'll notice that the trigger guard is shaped a little bit differently, and there's pieces of the slide that are machined out differently so that they don't create a lawsuit between these folks and Glock, because Glock and every other firearms company is very protective of their design and their features. So yes, it does look a lot like a Glock. The other good thing that I like about it is that a lot of training aids that we've witnessed in the past, they don't fit in our current holsters or in our current hardware setup. This one does. I wear a Raven concealment holster. It fits perfectly in my Raven concealment holster without any adjustments. The thing that I would hate to do is have to adjust my Raven concealment holster to be able to accept this, and then when I want to go back to my carry pistol, that I got to adjust it back so it fits for this. They both fit perfectly. Now, being in the training industry, in the firearms industry, guys like us are always looking for those pieces of hardware or technology that allow us to save money, save time, and maintain our fundamentals and maintain our skill set. So what I've done is I've done a little cost analysis up here. Cost analysis of going to the range versus a SIRT pistol. Let's just, this is just average Joe. This is 80 or 90% of the people. You're going to go to the range to practice your fundamentals and your skills of being a pistolero. You're going to pay for gas to get there. I personally I could drive 1 mile to the indoor range, but I think the indoor range that I commonly go to is full of crazies who every time you turn around there's a safety violation, and I can't stand going there. So I personally drive to a private range that I have access to, which is about 25 miles away. There and back costs me about $15 in gas. If I'm going to go there, I'm going to shoot I'm going to shoot a day's worth of ammo, $50, $75 worth of ammo. I'm going to get it out of my system so that all of my fundamentals are down pat before I leave. I don't want to go out there and just shoot one mag and come all the way home. Time. It takes me 3 hours to load everything up, get everything situated, put it in my truck, drive to the range, set up targets, do my shooting, and then come home. So, you know, I factor in about 3 hours of time for that whole evolution, and you know, about $75, about 3 hours of time for somewhere between 200 and 300 trigger presses. That's a lot of time and a lot of money. And whereas you could go to the SIRT pistol, I think retail that I checked on the web, the SIRT pistol was $329 or $219. They come with different lasers. I believe the less expensive one comes with 2 green lasers or 2 red lasers. I don't remember. I happen to have the $329 one that has a green and a red laser. So you can practice all of these fundamentals in the confines of your home or your office. You don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have any ammo. You don't have any target. You don't have any range idiots. You're safe. And you can do this every day of the week if you chose. The last analysis that I did that I didn't write down here was I figured that if you do 5 minutes a day, which equals about 35 minutes a week, and in those 5 minutes a day, you do 50 trigger presses. The equivalent to that equals about 30 hours a year of practicing your fundamentals. It equals about 18,000 rounds or about $3,600 worth of ammo. That does not count your time, doesn't count the safety violations that you might have encountered at the range. And with this pistol, and this is the one that I've had for 2.5 or 3 years, it's a little bit beat up and it's an earlier model, but I still use it. You practice all this stuff and you can maintain all these fundamentals, and then you can augment that with a trip to the range every so often to complete your training cycle, because there's some things that you just can't do with this that you would normally do with your regular firearm. So, in conclusion, for 350 bucks, you have a training aid that you can stick in your tools, your training tools, or in your kit, and you can use this whenever you want. You can point it at the wall, you can point it at the target, you can practice all your fundamentals. This thing will pay for itself in virtually no time. Just in the time that you save alone, it'll pay for itself. And that's not talking about all the ammo and the gas and the time that you expend to go to the range. So, again, NLT SIRT training pistol. Stay tuned. We're going to also do another one in the near future. They have a bolt for your AR-15. I've yet to play extensively with it, but I certainly believe that if it's anything as good as this device is, I will certainly love it as much as this. So, thank you for taking time to watch this. Have any questions, get a hold of me. Talk to you soon. Thanks.